So we'll be covering 20 questions today, 20 MCQs. So starting with question number 81. Which of the following rules or laws are not associated or not related to invasive species? Biological Diversity Act 2002, Environment Protection Act 1986, Plant Quarantine Regulation of Import into India Order 2003. So all these three are related to invasive species. So the answer is none. So all these are related to invasive species. Question number 82. Consider the following about Shannon-Wiener index. Now this Shannon-Wiener index term was mentioned in Economic Survey of 2019. It's a topic from environment. It's mentioned in Economic Survey, but it's linked to environment topic. Okay. So Shannon-Wiener index, first statement, it is an information index which is used by ecologists when a system contains too many individuals for each to be identified and examined. It is a ratio of the number of species to their importance values, for example, biomass or productivity, within a topic level or community. Recently, the Shannon-Wiener Index for trees was included in the Indian State of Forest Report 2019. Now, the thing is, all the three statements are correct. Actually, in this particular index was mentioned or included in Indian State of Forest Report, which is done by Forest Survey of India every 2 years. Fine. So this is correct. So this index is actually, it is an information index. It is used by ecologists when a system contains too many individuals for each to be identified and examined. It is a ratio of number of species to their importance value, that is to their biomass or productivity within a particular topic level. So all these three are correct. Shannon-Wiener index. Fine. Next. The concept of substantial equivalence is mostly used in which of the following? Substantial equivalence. Is it strategic petroleum reserves? Is it nuclear disarmament? Is it antimicrobial resistance or food safety of genetically modified crops? See, substantial equivalence is a term mostly you'll be seeing in newspapers, even in current affairs also, it's mostly used. See, all these four options are in a way related to our current affairs. Strategic petroleum reserves, antimicrobial resistance, genetically modified crops is not even current affair, it's a static course. So it's a static topic. So substantial equivalence is related to food safety of GM crops. It is related to food safety. Now it holds that now what does it mean? It holds that the safety of new food, the safety of a new food, particularly genetically modified food. So the safety of the genetically modified food can be assessed by comparing with, if we compare it with similar traditional food, which is already proven safe, so that concept is called substantial equivalence. It is related to safety, food safety, like how to know whether genetically modified crops are safe or not, because that's a big debate, right? So this particular concept is used in that particular topic, that is food safety of genetically modified crops. Fine. Again, one more question on it. Consider the following about substantial equivalence. This concept is usually related to the safety of GM crops. Yes, it is correct. Second, it was first formulated by Genetically Engineering Appraisal Committee GEAC under Ministry of Environment. Now the thing is, here lies the trap. Mostly what happens is, if you know it, if you know the half information about substantial equivalence, mostly most of the aspirants will go with 1 and 2. Yes, because GM crop safety it is, we all know. Plus GM crops, the highest apex level approval of any GM crops We get it from GESE under Ministry of Environment. So we may think maybe this is the committee which has formulated this, but it is a wrong statement. Statement is only one is correct. Why? Because this substantial equivalence concept was first it is nothing but a food policy, right? It is a food policy. This was first formulated in 1993 by OECD. Obviously, GESE uses it, but it was not first formulated by the GESE. It was first done by OECD in 1993. So answer is only one. Next. So the following clearly explains the term energy poverty. So what is energy poverty? Lack of access to traditional or fossil fuel energy services, lack of access to modern or clean energy services, or both or none. See, first of all, energy poverty means you need to know the exact meaning of energy poverty. Energy poverty means lack of access to modern energy sources. And what is modern energy sources? That is clean energy. So if you do not have access to clean energy, so that phenomenon is called energy poverty. Okay. It is not access to traditional or fossil fuel energy services. No. Okay, next. Consider the following about biodiversity heritage sites. Static topic. Biodiversity heritage sites. Now, biodiversity heritage sites comes from which law, or whether it comes from a law or it does not have a legal backing. That is the static topic which we study in Biological Diversity Act of 2002. Because in Biological Diversity Act of 2002 we have biodiversity heritage sites. So yeah, we'll read about biodiversity heritage sites. So first statement is wrong. Okay. So either we have to go with 2 or 3. Now, Majuli Island is the first biodiversity site, heritage site in Assam. Yes, this is correct. This is a very important fact and a very common fact. So answer is 3. So the second statement is the biological biodiversity heritage sites are notified by central government in consultation with the concerned state government. Now here they are notified by state government. They are notified by state government in consultation with local bodies. In consultation with local bodies. Now all this information will only get when you learn Biological Diversity Act of 2002. Now this is a environment topic. Each and every provision you have to learn from here. Okay, fine. Next. Consider the following about Critical Ecosystem Partnership Fund, CEPF. Now CEPF was in news. It's in news now also. Now CEPF, it is now what it is. It is whether it's an intergovernmental organization or it's an association. We need to know. Now the option is it is an intergovernmental initiative among United Nations members. See, first of all, CEPF is not an intergovernmental initiative. It is not an intergovernmental initiative. It is an initiative of Global Environment Facility, European Union, World Bank, Conservation International, and Government of Japan. It has nothing to do with United Nations members. It is wrong. Okay. So 1 is wrong. So from here you can know that 2 is correct. So it provides technical assistance and funding to NGOs and private entities to protect critical ecosystems. This is correct. 2 is correct. European and World Bank are stakeholders of this initiative. Yes, European Union and World Bank are stakeholders. So 2 and 3 is correct. Okay. Coming to question number 88. Consider the following about Majoli Island. It is formed by Brahmaputra in the south, joined by Manas River in the north. See, first of all, Majoli Island has nothing to do with Manas River. Okay, it's Subansiri River in the north. So one is wrong. One of the important features of the island is hidden charge. Yes, it is correct. It's factual information. It is mostly inhabited by Mission tribes. Yes or no? Yes, it is correct. Most it is inhabited by, there is a very famous tribes of northeast, that is Mission tribes. Okay. Question number 89. Which of the following may address the problem of NPA, non-performing assets, in the banking sector? So it is related to economy. Now, insolvency and bankruptcy code, that is the IBC code of 2016. Yes, it has been quite successful in addressing the problem of NPA. It is correct. So one is correct. Okay. Haircuts and asset reconstruction companies. ARCs, obviously, ARCs help in reducing NPS because they will take the bad loans. The asset reconstruction companies takes the bad loans of banks. So one is correct. Now what about haircuts? See, haircut is also correct. Now haircuts can also address the problem in short run. If we give some cut in the loans, it's a eco topic. If we give some cut in the loans, so obviously it will lead to the problem of NPS can also be addressed. Basically it is reduction in the asset value or value of the asset. The value of the asset, if it is reduced, so obviously haircuts will help in solving the NPS problem. Okay, so all the three are correct. Okay, coming to question number 90. Quality question, important question. Consider the following statements about judicial restraint. Now you need to know what is judicial restraint. Okay, it is the interference of judiciary. It is the interference of judiciary in the ambit of lawmaking. The SR Bommai case regarding the use of presidential rule is a prime example of judicial restraint. The concept of judicial restraint is in a way complements the provision of Article 50. Now, which is correct? First of all, you need to know what is judicial restraint. What is judicial restraint? First of all, the interference of judiciary in the ambit of lawmaking, it is the definition of judicial activism. It is not judicial restraint. Judicial activism or judicial overreach. It means the judiciary is interfering into the work of the legislature. That is judicial activism. So one is wrong. One is wrong and all is wrong. Either 2 or 2 and 3. Now SR Bommai case, we all know SR Bommai case is related to President's Rule 356. Like how to use. SR Bommai case gave guidelines regarding use of Article 356. Some provisions, some guidelines it gave. Before using Article 356, you have to see these guidelines. Okay. Yes, it is an example of judicial restraint. I'll tell you what is judicial restraint. Judicial restraint is the opposite of judicial activism. In activism, the judiciary is interfering, but in judicial restraint, the judiciary is restraining. It is not going into the ambit of lawmaking. It does not go inside and make a law. So what it does, it will give guidelines. It will not make a law. It will not go and add something in Article 21. For example, right to privacy. Now, right to privacy, that is the Puttaswamy judgment. It is an example of judicial activism. It is adding right to privacy inside Article 21. It means right to privacy under Article, it has become a law, it has become a part of our constitution. Who made it? Judiciary made it. That's why Puttaswamy case is an example of judicial activism. But SR Bommai case, it is not going inside Article 356. It is not making any changes in Article 356. The judiciary is not making any changes. Have you heard anything? Article 356 clause 1, clause 2 have been added, or something is added, like a right to privacy is added in Article 21 by the judiciary. But here in 356, nothing is added. Simply this court is giving guidelines. That is, it is restraining. It is restraining. It may have added something like Article 21 right to privacy, but it did not do. That is, it is restraining. So it means the concept of judicial decision is also complementing the provision of Article 50, that is separation of powers. That is separation of powers. So 2 and 3 are correct. It's a conceptual question. 2 and 3 are correct. 1 is wrong. Okay. So judicial activism, judicial restraint are very important topics from exam point of view, be it prelims, be it mains. Okay, next. Question number 91. Which of the following are related to internet security or cyber security? Is it Budapest Convention? It is Meridian Process, Tallinn Manual. Tallinn Manual was in news. Yes, it is related to internet security or cyber security. Yes, Budapest Convention. Yes, Meridian Process. All the three are correct. For this, you need to read IR nicely or in depth, because convention questions are coming nowadays. Okay, next, 92. Consider the following statements about Tallinn Manual. Tallinn Manual, first of all, is related to cyber security. It's a manual, it's related to cyber security. Some guidelines are mentioned. It is an academic, non-binding study on how international law applies to cyber conflicts or cyber warfare. Yes, it is correct. It is the in-depth knowledge about Tallinn Manual. It is non-binding. It's a document that was put together by the Western experts under the aegis of NATO. Yes, correct. It is correct. Both of them are correct. The document that was put together by the Western experts under the aegis of NATO. NATO is in news nowadays. And cyber warfare is a contemporary topic. So Tallinn Manual becomes important from exam point of view. So both the statements are correct. Which of the following cases is not a clear example of judicial activism? Now only I gave you the clear explanation between judicial activism and judicial restraint. So here, SR Bommai case, Aruna Shanuba case, Menka Gandhi case, Puttaswamy case. Now Puttaswamy case, right to privacy added in Article 21. It means something we're adding into a constitutional law. It means judicial activism. It is an activism. Menka Gandhi case, 1978. Due process of law was added. Initially, it was a procedure established by law. Now, to Article 21, due process of law added to Article 21. Now, what is the difference between due process of law and procedure established by law? You have to go to my YouTube polity lecture of fundamental rights of Article 12, starting from Article 12, the first lecture of fundamental rights. I've clearly explained what is due process of law, what is procedure established by law. So it is also a kind of a judicial activism, because you are adding something to Article 21. Aruna Shanuba case, yes, it is also judicial activism. Passive euthanasia. Passive euthanasia you are adding to Article 21. But SR Bommai case, you are not adding anything to Article 356. You are simply giving guidelines. If you are giving guidelines, so you are restraining. The court is restraining from using its power of judicial activism. So the answer is SR Bommai case, not a clear example. Okay. Next. So judicial activism, because a lot of cases are coming nowadays, judicial activism is in news every day. Plus these are the words, these are the cases which are used in a day-to-day preparation. Okay, in our day-to-day preparation. Consider the following about India's seed vault. India's seed vault is also in news. So India's seed vault, it's a joint venture under India's seed vault. We are talking about India's seed vault. Okay, not that Svalbard seed vault in Norway. It is a joint venture of ICAR, Indian Council of Agriculture Research, and DRDO. Yes, it is correct. And recently in 2019, this seed vault has been built in Changla, Ladakh. Obviously, it is in Changla, Ladakh, but it is not in 2019. It is 2010. So statement 2 is correct. Wrong number. Statement 1 is correct. Okay. So UPSC mostly plays with dates also. So you have to be very careful. Okay, which of the following recommends minimum support price for minor forest produce? MFP. So minor forest produce का MSP कौन recommend करता है? You have to choose between CC, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, Commission on Agricultural Costs and Prices, Minister of Environment, Minister of Tribal Affairs. So here the normal MSP is recommended by CSCP of MSP of crops is recommended by CSCP and approved by CCEA. That is Cabinet Committee on Economic. But here we are asking about the minor forest produce ka MSP. Answer is Minister of Tribal Affairs. It's Minister of Tribal Affairs. It is under a scheme. There is a scheme. It's also an environment question when you study about FRA Act and all. So here there is a scheme, centrally sponsored scheme, that is mechanism for marketing of minor forest produce through MSP. There is a scheme, mechanism for marketing of minor forest produce through MSP. There is a scheme, ongoing scheme. So there is a pricing cell set up under Ministry of Tribal Affairs. It revises. So there is a pricing cell also under Ministry of Tribal Affairs. It revises MSP for MFP, minor forest produce, once in every 3 years. Remember, recently it was revised, by the way, that's why it's in news. Okay, and minor forest produce comes from Forest Rights Act of 2006. If question comes only forest produce, it comes from Indian Forest Act of 1927. Remember. Okay. Next. So these are the things which are very important from environment topic, because forest produce, FRA Act, forest, animals, species, all these things are very much important from prelims point of view. You need to know each and everything in detail. Okay. Next. Which of the following is not a minor forest produce as notified by government? Out of this, which is not a minor forest produce? So when you do the topic of minor forest produce, you have to know also some product names. Pulpwood, bamboo, tendulips, or mahua seeds. So here, tendulips is a minor forest produce. Mahua seeds is a minor forest produce. Pulpwood is actually a major forest produce. Bamboo is also a minor forest produce. It's a major forest produce. So basically the pulpwood, basically remember the wood-based products. Wood-based products are major forest products. They are not minor-based. Major forest products. They are not minor forest products. Okay? Wood-based products, remember. And minor forest products are basically timber. Minor forest produce are basically non-timber. Non-timber forest products. Remember. Okay. Next question. 97. Seabed 2030. Current affairs. Seabed 2030 is a project of UNESCO Intergovernmental Oceanic Commission to produce a definitive map of the world ocean floor by 2030. Absolutely correct. They want to make a definitive ocean का एक map बनाएंगे यूनेस्को का Intergovernmental Oceanic Commission. This is correct. It was launched. Sorry, it is wrong. It is wrong. It is not. It is not done by Oceanic Commission. I'm sorry. It is wrong. It was launched at UNEF COP 23. It is also wrong. So Seabed 2030. It's a project between Nippon Foundation, of Japan, and GEBCO, that is General Bathymetric Charts of the Ocean. General Bathymetric Charts of the Ocean, very important organization. We'll come to that. And it was launched at, this one also wrong, it was launched at UN Ocean Conference 2017. Work is same, to produce a definitive map of the world. That is correct, but this is wrong. So both are wrong. Next, you can go through GEBCO. It's a nice organization which does works on this bathymetric. Okay, ocean ka floor ka they do. Okay. Next, consider the following about agricultural costs and prices, CACP. Now this is an agricultural topic question, economic question. Okay, CACP का questions काफी आता है exam पे. So CACP, it's the first statement is an executive body and an attached office under Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Now first of all, it is yes, it is an attached office. It is an attached office, but it is not an executive body. It's a statutory body. It's a statutory body. Act से आया है. So first statement is wrong. It submits separate reports recommending prices for Kharif and Rabi crops. Yes, this is correct. It submits separate reports. Remember, Kharif और Rabi के लिए अलग-अलग जो, because this is the body which recommends MSP and approved by CCEA, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. So separate reports this committee gives to the agricultural CACP committee gives to CCEA. Next, the World Declaration on Environmental Rule of Law was drafted by which of the following? Now this is also a very important question. This is a very environmental topic question when we study about environmental rule of law, because environmental rule of law is in news. World Declaration. So there is a declaration. A lot of declarations are there. A lot of UNFCCC, UNCBD, a lot of conventions are there. So it is also one of the famous conventions. You need to know because they can ask chronology questions also. So World Declaration on Environmental Law was drafted by IUCN. Remember, 2016. It contains 13 principles regarding environment. IUCN. Mostly here options, most of the students may go with UNEP, but it is wrong. Okay. So the last question, which of the following work of ancient history is also known as Science of Material Gain? So it's a direct question from our notes, ancient history notes. Brihat Samhit, Panchasiddhantak, Aryabhatiya or Arthashastra. So Panchasiddhantak, Brihat Samhit, Aryabhatiya, all are from Gupta age. Arthashastra is from Mauryan age, written by Chanakya or Kautilya. So the right answer is Science of Material Gain is Arthashastra. Fine. Okay. Thank you.